All right, 23 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. It looks a little bit overcast. I guess there's rain imminent. Maybe raining where you are. I don't know. Kerstin Karlhuber is on the phone, and I know we have some very talented filmmakers out there. And how do I know this? Well, you know, when you work in radio, a lot of filmmakers come around. No. No, but the truth is, a lot of guys I know that started out in radio, got years ago, went and bought some, video equipment and started these little production companies, and primarily ended up running their livings making TV commercials and things like that. But the big dream was always to make that motion picture, and they tried. A few of the guys I know tried their hand at it, and a couple of people we know. Robin have actually had at least one film that I know that made it to the big screen, even if it was a limited run. But the idea of doing that's got to be so exciting. That's got to be like being a recording artist and having an album out back in those days. I don't know what's the deal now. So we have on the phone the lady who's going to maybe help you achieve that dream. Kerstin Karlhuber is an award-winning filmmaker. She's the director of a few things, it sounds like. She's from Off-Broadway to the Cannes Film Festival. She's worked on segments on Good Morning America. She's the founder and director of the Silent Giant Productions film production company. She's going to tell us how to get that film onto the big screen. And apparently the internet, it might be one of the ways that this happens for us. Well, for you. I don't make films. I have a little camera. I make little things on YouTube. Hey, here's my dog. Kerstin Karlhuber. Good morning, Kerstin.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me on.
You're welcome. Are you in New York right now?
I am.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the air with us. What is the connection between the internet and the big screen?
Well, the filmmaking industry is changing so much these days. And, it used to be very hard to break in and very expensive because you'd be shooting on film and a lot of luck was involved. But now with the internet, you get so much exposure that it really can help you get your film out there and get some publicity for it.
And I've known some guys who were really good with the camera, and I've known other guys who were really good with the word process. In other words, they could put out a good script, but they didn't know really how to produce a film. So you got to get those two groups together, unless you happen to be like a Woody Allen and you can do both, right?
Right, exactly. There's an old saying that goes something like, if you don't have a good script, you can't have a good film. So you definitely need to start with a really fleshed out, solid script before you start shooting.
Well, and the one thing I wondered about regarding that is, like, okay, we've heard of films that really didn't have a very good storyline, but they became blockbusters anyway because of all the special effects and all of that. Obviously, if you've got a limited budget, you have no choice but to have a good script.
Right, exactly. And one of my tips for up-and-coming filmmakers, amateur filmmakers, is for your first number of projects, really keep it short and simple and tell your story organically without, special effects and car chases and things that would complicate it too much.
I have always wondered why when we hear that a book has been made into a movie, that 99% of the time the author of the book is not asked to write the screenplay. Somebody else does. Why is that?
Right. They're definitely two different crafts, and a screenplay is a very specific piece of work that tells a story visually, and a book is full of dialogue and descriptions, and in a film, unless you have a voiceover in it, you don't get those descriptions. So someone who writes a screenplay really has a different skill set in most cases than a novelist.
So should a screenwriter be encouraged to be a novelist or not?
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of screenwriters could cross over into writing novels as well. I think screenwriters are excellent at editing and really zeroing in on the message because you have limited time to tell it in a film. So I think they could cross over and write excellent novels.
Kerstin Karlhuber is our guest. She's already told us about a film. I want to check this one. It's called Tides of the Heart, and she's also on the air to help all of you filmmakers figure out how to get it onto the screen. So what's your advice to them?
I would say use the internet through all stages of production. You can use it in pre-production through crowdsourcing, I have a film that's about to launch on Kickstarter called Camp Revelation. This is my first taste of crowdsourcing, and so far it's really helped by using social media to get the word out there that we're trying to make this film, and people who are interested in it can donate.
So what is Kickstarter then?
So Kickstarter is a crowdsourcing website, and it makes media more participatory. So anyone can go on Kickstarter and find artists, maybe someone's making an album or a film, and you can find the project that you're interested in, and you can donate to it to help get it made. So you really have a voice in what's going to be coming out.
Oh, I see. So you can get financial backing.
Okay.
Exactly, right.
Okay, let's say I got a film in the we know a couple guys. Let me use a real example. We know a couple guys who are making a documentary about World War II veterans. These guys, I've seen their work before. They know how to make films.
Yeah.
But kind of in the intro, I kind of use them as an example because a lot of their money-making talent is on commercials. That's kind of the bread and butter of small-time movie makers, I guess, especially in a small town. Small-time in a small town.
Yeah.
You happen to be in New York City, so maybe the waters are a lot different there. But anyway, they are making a film, and it sounds like it's going to be a good one. But still, a documentary of World War II veterans might be interested only to a niche of people. So what would they do to get it to those people?
There are lots of different film festivals, and lots are niche film festivals. So, you could get into a festival that caters to people that are interested in that kind of thing, and they could network with people there. And also, if they happen to win awards or laurels, which is what they give out, it would lend a lot of credibility to their project to move on to perhaps a stage of distribution or something like that.
So sometimes people will be making films, and locally they will cast people in these films, the actors and the actresses, the crew, the music person, the limo driver, the caterer, things like that, and then they won't pay them up front. They'll ask them to sign this contract and say, when my film makes $250,000, then you'll start seeing your pay from that, and it'll be at a percentage. Is that a good thing for the upcoming actor and actresses to sign a contract like that, or should they get paid?
It's something I'd be wary of, but it does happen often because independent filmmakers usually don't have the budget to pay up front. I think it can definitely work out in your favor, but I would be wary and do a lot of research about the person that you're about to sign a contract for.
And can a person get their Screen Actors Guild card by acting in local productions like this, or do you have to go to the next level?
Usually you have to go to the next level. What you can do is be in larger productions as an extra, and if you get a certain number of days doing that, so something on a smaller scale but a larger production, you can get your SAG card that way. Can
the person that's creating the film, should you create a buzz about it before it's done and try to get booked on talk shows from the local to the national level? Is that a good thing, or should you have somebody do those bookings for you?
I would say usually independent filmmakers wouldn't be able to afford to have someone do that for them. So what I'm doing, even at this point, for my next film, which is called Camp Revelation, we're about to start the fundraising process, but we've been using social media to create a massive nationwide buzz about the film to get people excited.
Oh, wow. And does the technological changes that we've seen over the last few years affect the way a movie should be made so that it's more compatible? I don't even know how to ask the question because I don't know much about technology. But for example, on the bottom of the Amazon thing with your film, it says the video format details: online viewing, widescreen stereo, PC download, widescreen stereo, TiVo box, stereo letterbox, portable device, stereo, widescreen. Do we need to know? Does a filmmaker need to know how to do all those little format things, or is that just automatic?
Well, if a filmmaker is editing their own work, then they would need to know about those things. If they have their own editor, that person would know a lot more about different formats, and it does get kind of confusing because a lot of different platforms require something different.
Robin and I, by the way, even though music is kind of our forte, we every year volunteer at the local schools to judge the video competition that the students participate in. And of course, the one thing, well, it goes from kindergarten all the way up through 12th grade, and you can really see the difference in the kids' options. But it's amazing sometimes how the little children will often have something good. But at the end of it, when the credits are rolling, I mean, it can be one name.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that, if I go to the theater right now and see I don't know, Robin Williams film, there's like a million names that participated in the film. Is that changing where you can have a one-man band, so to speak?
Yes, exactly. When I do client work, I actually sometimes advertise myself as a one-woman band because for low-budget productions, I can do everything myself, and I have for plenty of things.
Robin and I are in the crowd scene in Waterboy. We're in the football stand.
We're there.
We were one of like 1,000 extras, and they take us with pizza.
Yeah.
And with the possibility that we would win guitars and cars and things like that. But
sometimes we see online where they will send out emails or post on Facebook that they're having casting calls, and they describe the people that they are looking for. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they have a price at the bottom, sometimes they don't. What is your viewpoint on this?
I think everybody on a film set works so hard, and in a perfect world, everyone would get paid for their work. But even in, obviously, large productions like The Waterboy, I think you mentioned, sometimes not everybody does because it's just such a massive undertaking and there isn't enough money to go around. And sometimes it does work out in the actor's favor because they just want experience. So that's enough for them.
Kerstin, before we say goodbye, is the information we're going to leave the audience with going to help them maybe look deeper into how to get their movies onto the big screen, or at least onto the internet or those little devices like the I have?
Yes, I actually wrote a blog post recently with tips for amateur and up-and-coming filmmakers. And you can find that on my website, which is silentgiantproductions.com. And I also have my email address on there for people who might have questions that they want to send to me, and I'll try to give as much information as I can.
Okay, silentgiantproductions.com. Okay, excellent. Kerstin, thank you so much. Fascinating stuff, and you live in a world that gives us all a break from the day, and it sounds like you've done a lot of good work, Kerstin. Hopefully you'll be in our area one day. You can stop in and see us in the studio.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, we'll take a little break and be right back.